Hello, it is the 1st of January and I'm at my family's home in Walsall, and I'm just going to record another episode of the Creating a Silk Frame to Make My Silk Paint Cards, the Peace with Justice and Oneness Love Freedom Cards. So, remember, before starting a mindfulness exercise, I like to have a bit of a stretch and a twist, and usually take my attention to my breath before I start. And I've got the ironing board set up because what I'm doing today is ironing the silk ready to go in the frame. And you know, on the train I got the first of the silks to size. I won't say cut to size because I just make a snip in the silk and then tear it, and then it doesn't, the side doesn't wobble, but what it does is pucker like that, because where you tear it, it puts pressure on the threads, so you need to iron them. So this is the first one. Since I did the one on the train coming to Walsall, I've done some more, so I'm going to iron them already. And you saw from the video, the last video I did, you saw how I was stitching fabric all around the frame, and then when I've ironed the silk, I'll be able to stretch it in the frame by stitching it to the cloth that I covered the frame with. All sounds very complicated, but when you see it on the video, you'll be able to follow it quite easily. So I've just sprayed the first one. I'm going to put the second one on top because there's enough dampness there from one spray to do for 2 pieces of silk. You get all these tricks as you go along and find what works. So now I'm just ironing those first 2 pieces of silk. Got the setting on the iron for silk. Just number 2 on the settings. Don't know whether you can see it, but it's coming nice and flat now. I'm going to show you those 2. There you go, all nice and flat, no puckers. Spread it on the back of the sofa and pick up the next one. See how this one is puckered along the edge, so it needs easing out and then ironing with a bit of spray. There we go. Then there's a thing that I started telling you last time about the gutter. I'm using gutter to outline my designs, and it's a sort of paste which comes in various colours, and you draw with it. It's a bit like toothpaste but much thinner. It has a kind of pointed hat on the end of it, like a witch's hat, only narrow. And when you buy it, it's sealed, so you cut the length down of the witch's hat according to how thick you want your line to be. And I like mine to be pretty thin. But I'll show you that when the gutter arrives. A few days ago, I think it was probably the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, I phoned my friend, my silk paint supplier. I phoned her on her private number, and she was out for a walk. And she was not in a position to be sending any orders on Boxing Day. So I always like to use her because she's a friend for many years, Silk Craft lady. The boss of Silk Craft, you can look it up online. I get most of my supplies from there. She's been supplying me for so many years. I don't like to go anywhere else. Anyway, not being sure about the gutter, I went online and I paid extra for next day delivery. And I got the message that my order had been taken, and the delivery will be between the 2nd and the 6th, and I go back to London on the 5th, so I blooming hope it turns up tomorrow. That was the pain for next day delivery on the 27th of December. Now this one really needs a bit of trimming because some of the threads are very long, but that's all nice and flat now. You can see those two. And you can see these strands that are doing nothing but cause trouble, or threaten to anyway. And at every moment, focusing my attention on what I'm doing and making it a mindful exercise. Now, remember what I've said about mindfulness. Mindfulness is an exercise that everyone can learn and practice. It's proven to not just reduce stress, but actually rewire our brain in a positive way. The neocortex, which is the command center part of our brain, becomes thicker, denser, meaning we can make better decisions, we can focus better, we can concentrate better, and we become more creative. The second part of the brain, which the brain scans show, has changed. And the changes show up even if you're just practicing mindfulness for 10 minutes every day for a week. So your neocortex gets denser and grows the number of little brain cells and connections in the neocortex. But also the hippocampus gets thicker. The neocortex is like, neo means new. It's the sort of human specialized type of brain, part of our brain. And within that or below that is the limbic system, which is a mammalian brain. And the hippocampus is situated in the mammalian brain, but it actually integrates the different parts of the brain together. And the hippocampus is very important. It deals with memory, and it deals with integrating different parts of the brain. So that's really important. And the third thing that you notice with mindfulness is that the amygdala gets smaller. And the amygdala is what controls and directs the stress response. So basically, it actually shows physically in the structure of your brain how the stress has got less through the practice of mindfulness. So absolutely important thing for everybody to learn is how to practice mindfulness. And that's the theory. The practice is, mindfulness is a bird with two wings. The first wing is paying attention to here and now in the moment. And you can do that either by taking time out and doing a specific exercise. And I recommend you do something for between 2 and 15 minutes every day. So you focus your attention on here and now, and you observe what you're doing, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, the space and place you're in, with an attitude of curiosity and kindliness. And the second wing of the bird of mindfulness is your attitude. And the attitude is self-love and kindliness. Okay, back to the ironing board. I'm on the last pair, and then I've got one more, so I'm actually going to put this one on top, the third one on top, so I do 3 together on this. And I think each one will do 6 cards. So I've got 7 pieces of silk. So 6 sevens, I think, is 42. So it's nearly 50 more cards I'll be doing. But the great thing is that I'll be doing them in batches of 6. So if I make a mistake, it's only messing up a few cards, and hopefully each one I'm doing will be teaching me more. I'll be learning better how to make them the way that I want, and I can do more variety as well. My son had a dream when I was doing my stall in Palestine House. My son had a dream that he was there with me, and he said all the cards on that I was selling in his dream were blue, green and gold, and I want to try and make some like that and honour his dream. It's like the victory corner of Palestine after the craziness finishes. And if I get some designs that really work well, I'll look into seeing if I can get some printed so they can be distributed widely across the country and bring income in without me having to be there to sell them. So all my ideas and dreams are flying in the skies, like anything. My sister knows someone who does create cards for a charity. She sent me one, so I'm going to contact that friend and find out what's involved. So one way or another, today is the 1st of 2025, and it's already feeling quite exciting. The main thing is we've just got to stop the blooming genocide going on and work for peace in many different parts of the world. Yeah, all of it done now, all finished. So, remember, when I finish the exercise, like I've just finished the silk ironing now, take my attention again to my breath. Make it gentle and slow. My body a little bit of a stretch and a twist. And then rub my hands together. Hold them on the sides of my face. And just feel that self-love. Gratitude for life. Gratitude for my strong body and my health. Gratitude for the knowledge of silk painting and capacity to bring my silk things here. Gratitude for family and home. And feeling that love and gratitude, sending it out into the world to share with all of you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me. And have a very happy and peaceful with peace, with justice and oneness and love. Peace begins with our own life, our own interactions, our relationships. Starts in our own heart. So I'm wishing you a very peaceful and progressive, transcendent New Year. Bye.